Hey everyone, my name's Dana Aronson, and I'm excited to share with you all a new monograph that's up on the HerbRally website. You can find this Rosemary monograph at herbrally.com, and it is under the Monograph tab on the website. So before we get started, I will share a little bit about myself and my background. My training is in clinical herbalism. I have a small practice that I see clients out of in Southern Oregon. I started a company by the name of Wild Kin Botanicals, and through my herb company, I sell herbal products, I teach workshops and classes, and offer mobile pop-up clinics that are also a collaborative effort with other herbalists. Some of my passions are connecting people back to earth through hands-on learning, being out in nature. It can look like herb walks, it can look like camping trips, basically trying to immerse people in nature that is around them and where they are living, and learning plants that grow naturally in these environments. Another one of my dear passions is offering support and showing up for people struggling with addictions. These can be addictive patterns around substances and also common things like sugar and caffeine. Myself, along with another herbalist by the name of Lisa SF, started a wound care clinic on the streets of West Oakland alongside a nonprofit by the name of Punks with Lunch, and we were offering free herbal wound care. I have since stepped away because I have physically moved to another state, but Lisa is still holding it down in West Oakland with a group of herbalists. And that is a little bit about me and my background. So let's get started. I think, we'll start off with this quote because it really does, for me, embody the true essence of rosemary. And this quote is from Maia Toll, and she's an herbalist based out of Asheville. And it goes a little something like this. Rosemary is the smell of déjà vu and the afterbreath of nostalgia. Her gift is the faint scent that teases and vanishes, leaving you longing for something you can't quite name, and with memories that crest and crash, pulling you, gasping into their undertow. And for me, this quote encapsulates my first sitting with rosemary. While sitting with this plant, I had a vision of a grandmother energy, a woman with long silver hair, and in a setting of dark grays and dark greens and cloudy skies. This grandmother was not someone I could recognize personally, but I remember feeling held and safe. And as the old saying goes, rosemary for remembrance. Known for being a common spice in our kitchen cupboards, rosemary is so much more. Modern-day herbalists use rosemary for mental clarity, cloudy thinking, memory, brain fog, and what David Winston coins stagnant depression. It can have an affinity to places where there is stagnancy in the mind, in the body, and emotions. Rosemary supports the cardiovascular system, even down to the small capillaries in the brain, the eyes, and the extremities. This can be beneficial when folks struggle with vasoconstrictive headaches and tense muscles. Along with rosemary's affinity to the brain and to the memory, it is also an antioxidant that helps decrease oxidative stress and free radicals in the body, and this is beneficial for cells on their base level. This is useful in cases of diabetes and cancer and arthritis. Rosemary's volatile oils makes this herb a great carminative and bitter, which can help ease pains from gas or bloating, especially when psychological tension is happening. The bitter taste that is present in rosemary can help stimulate the liver, gallbladder, bile production, and digestive juices, making the digestive process a lot smoother. This is one of the reasons why it is so commonly paired with fatty meals and used as a spice, of course, right? Externally, this plant can be used to help dilate the capillaries and stimulate blood flow to an area that has been hit hard with trauma, like when you twist your ankle or when you have pain caused by chronic tension. And for those people who want an herb for hair, this is the plant for you. Rosemary can stimulate hair follicles and create large amounts of circulation to the scalp. Use the essential oils in a leave-in hair oil or put some in your shampoo. The essential oil can be used to rub on the temples or at the base of the head, kind of near like the occipital muscle, to relieve headaches and drowsiness and also increase concentration. The fresh leaves can be chewed for a breath freshener. It can help combat infections in the gums. Have you ever tried to put a drop of rosemary in your hands, rub them together, and inhale? If you haven't, I highly recommend trying it out. The energy goes up into the sinuses and the head, and for me, instantaneously clears and literally is a breath of fresh air. Some personal and clinical experiences through my journey with plants. Rosemary is the first plant I've had a visionary experience with. Rosemary guided me into a gray night with a grandmother energy holding the scene. I find this theme strong with the energetic medicine of rosemary. I tend to use this plant in drop doses when the spirit has been cut off from tradition and lineage, the forgotten stories of our past. When someone's family or ancestral stories have been cut off, rosemary can stimulate the blood to run through the body, pulling on the DNA to just remember. Just like how this plant keeps its leaves all year round and is considered an evergreen, our lineage is with us 24/7. Clinically, I've used this herb when people have cold constitutions, deep cold in the body, a weakened circulatory system, and struggling with brain fog. This gentle, stimulating nervine has been beneficial in practice when folks express hard times coming off of caffeine or sugar, especially that first cup of coffee in the morning. One of my favorite herbal pairings with rosemary is rhodiola. Rhodiola is a gently stimulating adaptogen and can also help increase oxygen in the lungs, and so that innately will bring oxygen also up to the brain. In my practice, there has been a few folks that have also had success with rosemary tea for decreasing discomfort from tension in the neck and the base of the head. And through these mobile clinics, many times throughout the day, we see a number of people with tension headaches. I always start with a drop of rosemary rubbed onto the occipital muscles, and I found it gives pretty fast relief to these folks. Rosemary is a true ally for me and within my practice. This is why I always have a small bottle of rosemary essential oil in my purse, in my first aid kit, and in my house. Essential oils are one way to use rosemary, but rosemary can be brewed as a tea. You can use the dried spice or dried leaves or fresh leaves. It can be tinctured. It can also be infused in apple cider vinegar, where you can take little shots in the morning, add it to your water, or use it as a base for salad dressing. Rosemary is pretty darn easy to grow and does really well in the ground or really well in a pot. And so if you live in an area where you don't have much property or a garden to grow, stick it in a pot, put it in your windowsill or on your front porch or maybe the stairs leading up to your house. You don't need a lot of space to cultivate rosemary, and that's one of the reasons why I love rosemary so much. It can be very accessible to most people as long as you're near a grocery store, and it's easy to cultivate. You just need a little sun. Along with using rosemary as a single herb, I really love using it in a few combinations. One of them is for brain health and for memory. I like to use gotu kola, rhodiola, peppermint, and also rosemary added into that. For circulation health and just circulatory system support in general, I like to use hawthorn and linden and motherwort along with rosemary. And for a nervine support for the nervous system and for anxiety and stress, and even sometimes insomnia, I like to use milky oats and nettle and tulsi along with rosemary. So along with rosemary being pretty generally safe for most people, people want to avoid using large doses of rosemary during pregnancy or when someone's trying to conceive, and then also in cases of vasodilative headaches. And to finish up this little recording, I'd like to just list off the herbal actions for all you herbal folks out there to kind of broaden the picture. The herbal actions of rosemary are carminative, antispasmodic, antidepressant, rubefacient, antimicrobial, amenagogue, antioxidant, circulatory stimulant, and bitter. And that sums up my time on this recording. I appreciate you all listening in. And if you have any questions or want to reach out, I'm always available. You can find me at www.wildkinbotanicals.com. So thanks for listening in, and I hope this monograph supports budding herbalists in their plant journeys, and I hope you enjoy.